Hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, episode 44. If I'm not mistaken, yes it is, episode number 44. We did not do a Legion episode yesterday, and we're not going to do Defenders tomorrow because it is Thanksgiving week. So I did think I would do a midweek episode, and then I've got a great episode that I recorded last weekend for this Saturday. So I just want to start, and what we're going to do is, since the first time since episode 36, we're going to talk New Warriors. And today we're going to talk New Warriors 7 through 10, which is the next story arc. I'm reading it in the Omnibus Volume 1. I am really enjoying it. And it's a really cool story. It starts in number 7, which was cover dated. It was released November 27th, 1990. Cover dated January 1991. And it introduces us some more characters, and it's we'll start with 7. It's Fabian, Mark Bagley, Larry Malstadt, Andy Yakus as colorist, letterer Joe Rosen, editor Danny Fingeroth, and it's got a great Mark Bagley, Larry Malstadt cover. And it is it's just a little more backstory on Night Thrasher and Silhouette, and there's an assassin named Bengal who's trying to kill a priest friend of Silhouette's, and the Punisher and Night Thrasher duke it out. Meanwhile, Speedball, Nova, Marvel Boy, Nemorita, and Firestar head to the Amazon to find Speedball's mom. And it's a great 4-part story. It's really 7, 8, and 9 it's really 2 stories going on at once, because you have the 2 different arcs, and there's some stuff going on in the background with Maya Karam, who is doing something in the background. I think it ends up being the Sphinx story. I've never read this, but I've heard of this story, and I've seen it in flashbacks, and I'm very excited to get there. But definitely Fabian is doing the slow build. It is very much like a Marvel comic of the 80s and 90s, where something's going on in the background for many issues, and it pays off in the end, and I'm looking forward to it. But 7 is the beginning of it, and it kind of divides the team up. You get to see Silhouette's got a little this new power, which I think is kind of cool. The synopsis in the database is basically this for issue 7: is the team splits up when Night Thrasher wants to protect Silhouette from the assassin, the Bengal. Great name, great costume. Speedball needs help investigating the disappearance of his mother from the Project Earth outpost in Brazil, also featuring a shock ending appearance by the Punisher. And this was reprinted in Classics Volume 2. Wow, I guess they called it Classic because there have been so many New Warriors since this. And then it's continued in issue 8. Same creative team. Anything different? No, everything's different. Still some stuff going on. And we get to meet the people from Project Earth. Madeline Ballman, some people. And then there's the Force of Nature, Skybreaker, Aqueduct, Terraformer, and Firewall. And they're all former villains. Terraformer's the old plant master. It's really cool, and there's a little cameo of Emma Frost in it, because we're going to see Emma is kind of concerned where Firestar's gone, because she was one of her Hellions. And you get to see a really good fight between Night Thrasher and Punisher, and they come to some agreement because they're both badasses, kind of thing. And this one was released on Christmas Day, 1990. And then the story wraps up in number 9, or at least the Punisher part. And what it is that there's a priest, Father Janes, and he did some horrible things in Vietnam. This is an era where that's 20 years after the Vietnam War, and Vietnam vets like Punisher and Cord and Father Janes, their trauma of serving in that war is part of the plot of a lot of things, with men coming to terms with what they did when they were younger, which was huge in media back then. And my father was a combat veteran. He was an officer. He had been in the Marine Corps more than 20 years when he went to Vietnam. But I grew up around vets, and they had some bad stories to tell, and they worked them into comics. People would tell their story, and it would become cliche. But I think this is handled pretty well. It's pretty well. I mean, it is in some ways Father Jane's story of being really bad and finding redemption as a priest. It could be considered a trope, and it is a trope in some stories. But I think it's handled really well, and it's good. I think this comic is growing on me, and I'm wishing I had been reading it in the 90s. I would have dug it. I'm a little older than its core audience, I think. But I would have been reading Teen Titans, and someone made a comment that this book is kind of like this is the Teen Titans from Marvel in the 90s. And I don't disagree with that. It's a eclectic group of heroes who form a family, and it's working. So that's 9, and then it continues into 10. But 10 is more the Emma Frost thing. It's where the New Warriors fight the Hellions, Beef, Bevatron, Cat's Eye, Jetstream, Tarot, and Roulette. And, Firestorm and Emma come to an agreement at the end, because it's basically just a duke 'em out all issue, and it was a lot of fun. But I really like these issues. That's just kind of, I don't want to go into too much detail because the whole story is very good. The Punisher stuff is a good sideline because it lets you learn a little bit about Dwayne, Night Thrasher. You get to see Silhouette in action, and she has this ability to jump, but she leaves her clothes, which is kind of inconvenient, but I guess we'll see more about that because she eventually joins the team, from what I understand. Because I've read literally almost no New Warrior stuff, except some later stuff. But it was neat. I like the story in the jungle, where they're battling these people who think they're doing good, but they're really doing bad. It's an early thing of villains becoming heroes and taking new names, which is the force of nature's do. And that'll lead into something I'm going to talk about when I'm done with this. But I think these are 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's 4 great issues. It's really a story and then an epilogue. And then we're going to go into a big event next, which is King of Pain, which is a New Mutants, X-Factor, X-Men, and New Warriors. It's one of those 4 annuals crossover event, which my buddy Ken says is really good. And it's got some nice Magnolia covers. I'm looking forward to those. That'll be what I do in about 3 or 4 months when I come back to this, because I'd like to. They've solicited the second volume of this, and I've already pre-ordered it at my local comic shop, Velocity Comics. I really am enjoying this. Reading these in the Omni, especially since there's a lot of side stuff that I probably would miss if I had old trades. But it's a really good story. Let me get to the point. The Punisher comes between. There's a nice moment where the Punisher stops the battle between Night Thrasher and the Bengal, who is some kid that Father Jane kicked off the leg. He was his whole village had been massacred, and he grabbed onto the landing, strut of the helicopter, and Jane kicked him off, but he survived, and he became a martial arts costume person looking to kill Father Jane, and they come to peace, and Father Jane asks for forgiveness, and he's given it, and the Punisher just comes in and goes, we've all, basically we were all damaged from this war and the things it's done, but we, he makes them come to their senses. And it's really, I'm not a big Punisher fan. Never have been. I did like the Ennis Steve Dillon run a great deal because it had a little bit of humor to it. But I'm not more into these Deathstroke Punisher kind of guys. The furthest extreme I get toward the angry anti-hero is Hawkeye and Green Arrow. But I really enjoyed this story. Mark Bagley's art with Larry Moss, I think, is just absolutely amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I didn't really discover Mark Bagley until maybe when I finally started reading Thunderbolts. I kind of discovered them late and played catch up and was in love with that book, which is we're gonna talk about that a little bit more. But But I just love the work he's doing in this. I love him inked by Larry Malstadt. I think Larry Malstadt is one of the best inkers that no one talks about. This is after he had done his run with Giffen in Legion, which is stunning work for both of them. But it's a lot of action. I think Fabian's writing is just stellar. The dialogue pops for me. The characters are getting more and more developed. They're moving forward. I really care about Speedball. I really never thought I'd ever really care about Speedball, but I really do kind of care for Robbie. I really like Namorita. I want to see more with Namorita. I just saw me and my wife went and saw Black Panther this weekend with some of her students, and it was amazing. And I love what they did with Submariner. I love making him Mesoamerican and not Atlantean. I think it's a good choice. It just gives you options to play with, and the actor who played him is absolutely amazing, and I love the movie. I think it was great. But back to the story. I think I like the portrayal of Punisher in this. I like the use of narration as Punisher narrates some. Dwayne does, as does Speedball, like in the old movies. I really like it. I think it all works. I'm enjoying it. I cannot sing the praises of New Warriors anymore. I also want to talk about I got a steal on the first two Thunderbolt Omnis. I got Volume 1 today. Volume 2 will probably arrive Friday, a day after Thanksgiving. I love it. I can't wait to read that. I will probably do that in arcs. I've got a buddy who's a Thunderbolts nut, and I've still got to try to figure out time when he can come on, and I think we will cover an overview of it. But I may I may jump in and out. But it was great. But I also got picked up today. I paid for it last weekend when I went to the shop, but it hadn't arrived yet. Is the complete it's the Invaders Omnibus. It's everything. It's every issue of it. It's the Liberty Legion crossover. It is the FF Marvel 2-in-1 crossover. It's the miniseries from the 90s. And a What If and Avengers 71 is put in there. It's a great collection. It's a massive tome, but it's everything. It's well worth it. I'm starting to fall in love with these Omnis for these series that I never really read, or I just feel I need to own Thunderbolts. I think I really know I want every New Warriors Omni they put out. They've solicited the third Thunderbolts, which doesn't even, I don't think it does. It gets it through the next, gets it through Volume 1 and Volume 2. I think all Volume 2 is in it, 1 through 17. I think it skips the wrestling stuff. I hope it skips the wrestling stuff because I have no interest in that. But, it'll be nice to have 3 of them. And I'm enjoying them. I really, the Invaders one, folks, if you've got the money to drop on it, I think you need to. If you're a big fan of Golden Age heroes like I am, the Invaders are always second fiddle to the Justice Society and All-Star Squadron, but I really always did love Roy and Frank Robbins' work on the Invaders. I really did. And early on, I covered that the crossover, the first crossover, because it's in the Liberty Legion Thing hardcover, and I never did get to the other crossover, and I will get to it. I actually took my hardcover and put it on eBay today because I had 3 different versions of that story. I had the Invaders Volume 1 trade from 2007, that first edition, and I had the Liberty Legion hardcover. So I put them up on eBay, folks. If you're listening, they're pretty cheaply priced. Check them out. But again, read New Warriors. If you haven't, it's on the app. It's well worth it. And check out the Invaders. If you haven't ever read the Invaders, check them out. They're on the app. It's worth reading if you like Golden Age. I know Frank Robbins is an acquired taste with an artist for some people. I know a lot of people my age who really didn't like it, and I always kind of did because it gave it a very 1940s feel. I'm looking forward to more Mark Bagley. I'm going to read some Thunderbolts this weekend. I'm going to read some Invaders this weekend. And then on Saturday, the me and I re-recorded an episode with Jennifer DeRoss, the officer of Forgotten All-Star, the biography of Gardner Fox. We discussed the two Brave and the Bold and the two showcase Gardner Fox, Murphy Anderson, Justice Society team-ups, Doc Fate Hourman, the two of those, and the Starman Black Canary ones. We had recorded it, and I had a failure of the recording device, but we recorded it again, and you'll get to listen to it this Saturday or Sunday, depending when I can drop it, because I'm getting up early tomorrow to work on a turkey and have dinner with my mother-in-law, my brothers-in-law, and my lovely wife. So, folks, have a happy Thanksgiving. This is going to go up in about an hour, so it'll still be the day before Thanksgiving. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and if you listen to this after, I hope you had a great day. I'm very thankful for a lot of stuff this year. I'm healthier. Work's a little mellower. I've got a beautiful wife, one stupid dog, one thug dog, and two mischievous cats in my life. I'm getting to chat comics with some great people. Billy, Martin, Sean, Ron, Jimbo, Kirby, and Jennifer. All these great people have been on this show. Get to talk Doctor Who every other 2 weeks with my best friend. Today, as I record this, is Doctor Who Day, and I watched Unearthly Child and the animated Evil of the Daleks, which was a lot of fun while I was reading comics and hanging out with another buddy as we ate my wife's amazing white cheddar gluten-free mac and cheese. It was delicious. It was dinner. And tomorrow I'm making a turkey, and we're going to hang out, and we'll be silly. My wife will get up early to watch the Macy Day Parade, which will make me just go read comics in my office and prep for Saturday's episode. But then again, folks, as always, be smart, be safe, be kind. We're going into that season where a little more kindness is always good, and read some comics.